Okay, so getting right into it, that is Arbonne primer, and I'm just smoothing that all over my face. I'm going to start with the primer, and then I'm moving on to the eyes. So this is Soft Ochre Paint Pot, and I'm just smoothing a very thin layer on my eyes, and I'm using the Naked palette, that first Naked palette, bringing it back, haven't used it in a while, and the color that I just pointed to is Buck, so it's like a mid-tone brown, so any mid-tone brown would work just fine, and I'm putting that above the crease. You can see sometimes I put it in the crease, but I'm really trying to get it kind of above the crease because I'm really trying to allow a lot of lift to the eyelid. The reason I called this Carrie Diaries is because I noticed when they did her makeup in that show, her eyelids are so big and the upper eyelid is so lifted so that the lower eyelid can really like have separation. So what I'm doing is I'm just buffing a lot of that color in very small amounts. So it's like a layer, buff it in, another layer, buff it in. So just more and more you're creating depth and lift. Just brushing through the brows really quick. And then I'm going back with a fluffy brush with nothing on it, and I'm just blending it out. So it's really soft, really diffused, but you're definitely getting that lift. I like to curl my lashes in the beginning so they're nice and curled, and then I can do my makeup around the curls rather than going back with the lash curlers and possibly messing up the makeup. So that's why I do that. So just give them a good curl. And then a little bit of brow action, just creating little hair-like strokes and just filling it in and shaping it up a little bit, making them a little thicker than my natural brows. But those little strokes are really important. And then I like to go back with the spoolie end and just kind of comb through it. It makes it look more like hair rather than you like filled in with lines. Okay, so this is a MAC pigment called Blonde's Gold, and I'm taking a synthetic brush, I'm dipping it in the pigment, and then I'm taking a little Fix Plus, and I'm spritzing it, and that's going to give me like a really metallic foiled look on the lid. I'm putting it all over the lid, all the way into the crease. And I also like to use the Fix Plus with the pigment because that way it doesn't fall everywhere, and you just really get the most payoff. This is Studio Fix foundation, which I'm kind of back on. My skin is getting better, but it still needs a lot of coverage. So the Studio Fix, I really like it. I think it's probably one of the best coverage foundations that I have other than the Estee Lauder Double Wear, because of course that covers everything. But sometimes you don't want anything super duper heavy, so this kind of still feels light enough that I can wear it every day, but it gives me a lot of coverage, so it makes me feel a little better. So I'm just putting that on with a damp Real Techniques Beauty Blender. So it's not the Beauty Blender, it's the Real Technique one. I really like it, but after doing the wet sponge technique with this foundation, I decided that I do prefer my Sigma F80. So I busted out the Sigma F80, that's this brush that I'm using right now, and I'm just going back and buffing it in. So the thing I like about this foundation is you really can do layers. So this is just one layer. If I had done a second layer, then I look really flawless. Now I'm going with this is my concealer in the Pro Longwear. This is NW15, I believe, so it's nice and light. And it looks a little crazy right now, but I'm just putting it everywhere with some lightness under my eyes, around my nose, etc. And then I'm going to go back with the F80 and just buff it in. So it eventually will kind of blend into the foundation and it'll look more normal. So that's the thing, you know, it's always a little light in the beginning, but it will get buffed in, and then I'll add bronzer and that sort of thing. So just buffing it in, swirling it around, stippling it, and you know, this is one of the steps you really will spend the most time on, because even up close when you look in the mirror, you really want that foundation to look, you know, obviously it's not going to look exactly like skin, but you want it to look as skin-like as possible. So now I'm going back in with a little more blending. This is just a clean brush. This is very similar to the MAC 217. It's a Sigma brush though, but it's almost the same exact brush. This is just a little sample size that they sent me. Now for liner. So I'm taking, this is MAC Coffee. It's just a straight up brown, not too warm, not too cool. And what I'm doing is I'm getting underneath my lashes. So it's kind of like the upper waterline, because I just want my lashes to look really thick, but I don't want a line above my lashes. That's not what I want. So this just kind of does an invisible tight line, and this is kind of my go-to right now. Then I'm taking Hustle, which is a shimmery, rich dark brown, and I'm buffing that over where I've drawn the line. So it's gonna be really soft, but really close to the lashes. Again, I don't want like a line above. Now I'm going back with Smog, and I've already done a little bit of the hustle underneath and the liner underneath, and now I'm buffing it out even more with Smog and a pencil brush. This is a MAC 219. I'm sorry I go off camera a little bit. So, moving on, a little bit of bronzer, and this, I like to use bronzer even in the winter because I feel like it does help kind of blend in my hyperpigmentation, even things out. So it's getting a lot better. I might, do some treatments, like maybe some laser treatments or something like that. I'm gonna kind of see how it goes now that I'm not pregnant and just see if time will take care of it. But in the meantime, there's makeup, and I'm using it, to its fullest extent. So just buffing that in. I love this product because it's a cream product. Going back with a little more blending because, again, this is all about that lift with the upper lid. I want it to look really lifted. So now this is one of my favorite products right now. It's a cream blush by The Balm, and I'm just blending that in with another synthetic brush. I find that these Real Techniques synthetic brushes are so fantastic for cream products. They're good for powders too, but they're exceptional for cream products. And I love how the cream products just kind of blend in. So now lots of mascara. I don't really need to talk too much about this here, but I do find that most women, they don't spend enough time on their mascara. So if you want your lashes to be really big and dark and thick and long and all that good stuff, really spend some time on your mascara. I like a rubber wand because it'll not clump so much. And there's the baby. So this one is a little quick at the end because he was being very patient, and he was sitting in my lap and he was just happy as a clam, and then he got kind of bored. So I'm like, all right, let's speed this up. Let's get it done. So I'm taking a little more buck and just blending in a little bit more because, again, I want as much lift as possible. Real quick for the lips, MAC Spice, nothing special. Just lining the lips, and then I go in with a little bit of MAC Velvet Teddy. I think next time I would use something a little lighter. Sorry, the baby's in my lap. You can tell I'm a little distracted. I'd probably use, Tom Ford Pink Dust. So that's it. I hope you like it. Thanks so much.